Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon as we are live from Alumni Hall in Fayetteville, 3417 North College Avenue. Great time to come out here with all the Razorback gear, baseball gear, basketball gear. We're going to have some giveaways, going to tell you all about it. But, fellas, it's been too long since we've been back out here at Alumni Hall, but it is good to be back, especially this time of year.
It is. It's very good to be back out here. Excited. I know people are excited for opening day to come out here and opening day of the home season anyway,
Yes.
to come out here and get their gear, and big Razorback game tomorrow down at Bud Walton Arena. So there's a lot of reasons to come out to Alumni Hall and get decked out. We've seen a bunch of people rolling through here. It's good to be back, man. The vibes are always high when we're out here.
Yeah, absolutely nothing can break me down today, except for maybe the Xavier Musketeers. They could maybe break me down a little bit today, but I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm expecting it to be a great crowd at Baum Walker today because of just how few tickets are available whenever you check all the apps and all that. So if there's not a ton of people at Baum Walker, I'm going to be mad at a bunch of people who are just sitting on their season tickets, which is a conversation we always like to have when it's non-conference play. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be back here. Yeah, it has been a while. The last time we were here, John gave me that cool lightsaber. That's really all I can think about the last time we were here.
Yeah, I mean, it was before Christmas. This is the first time of the year of 2026 that we've been here, but it's perfect time because as we talked about, you got Razorback baseball starting up with their home opener series against Xavier today at 3 p.m. They also have this thing called a basketball game tomorrow that's happening against Missouri in Bud Walton Arena, which I know we'll break down and talk a lot about that, as well as some updates surrounding that. And even spring football is going to be starting up and be around the corner. It's just unfortunate. I heard you guys talking about it at least, that, all week long, the weather was great. And then just, I guess the cold front came in. So Arkansas weather, you can't decide. Well, that's okay because Alumni Hall has literally short sleeves, long sleeves. They got sweater shirts. They've got coats. They've got jerseys, which, by the way, when you come in, me and Curtis are having the red or the whites. We're going to give away one of these bad boys to a lucky customer here. All you got to do is use code HOGSBY20 for 20% off, and you get a chance to win one of these sweet jerseys. But they got it all here at Alumni Hall for any occasion and any weather.
Yeah, that's big time, man. Anytime we think that we're done with winter weather, it gets cold again. The great thing about it is, though, it's nice. It's sunny. It looks like baseball weather, even though it might not feel like it. And I think you mentioned it. For the most part, it's not too bad. Every now and again, it gets a little bit gusty out there, and that's when it can get you a little bit, put a chill on your spine.
I'm also really bad. Like right now, I can walk outside and tell you I can feel the wind, but I couldn't tell you what direction or how that's going to affect. I got to get to Baum. I got to see how the flag is moving, see if we're going to have any shenanigans with some fly balls today. Excited to see Kahio Aloy track them down in right field. It's going to be a great fun. But yeah, you're right. It definitely looks like baseball weather out there, and I think it's going to kick off. We can't use Woo Pig weekend because we can't just use that every single weekend. But we're going to kick off an exciting weekend on the most beautiful campus in America. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, they need to start coming up with more terms for it instead of just a Woo Pig weekend. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what that would be, but it needs to change something up because, it's going to be awesome. And, with baseball today, we were also talking about it. Apparently, people are already lining up outside of Baum in cold weather for Xavier in the hog pen. So there's that people are doing. People are excited about baseball, and then I guess basketball, they moved up the game tomorrow. So, you may have people go to the baseball game. I guess it starts at 1, games at 3 for basketball. Maybe a little transition there. A brisk walk over from Baum Walker to Bud Walton Arena if that's the case. But I know there's going to be a lot of people in town for all the events going on. Even gymnastics meet tonight. Can't forget that. It's a big gymnastics meet. So a lot of people are going to be coming into town, and I know that there's going to be a lot of Razorback events that you can attend no matter what.
Yeah. Is run rule in effect tomorrow?
Yes, it'll be there. There will be potentially 3 run rules going on.
Maybe that happens, and then we can get everybody from Baum into Bud Walton Arena, in a timely fashion. Otherwise, it'll definitely be one of those classic late arriving crowds a little bit, because basically it'll probably have a little bit of overlap there, and then people can come on over. But I think there's going to be a lot of people out and about for sure. John, I gotta give John a shout out because we. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Like, we don't just show up and go live. There's a process here. I don't know if anybody could tell. John was just slightly out of breath when we started the show. This man's been getting after it for like the last half hour. He's been across town and back. As the intro was playing, he was setting up the speaker and doing all kinds of other stuff. And then he had about 3 seconds to spare before we went live. And then he just gets in the chair and it was like, and welcome in. It was pretty good work. So I got to give you credit where it's due, because it's like he's the Jackie Moon of this operation a little bit. It really showed here.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where it's just you get stressed, you get rushed, and I'm not going to say how fast I was going on the 71 business over here to get back home. We don't need to talk about that, but you got to get here. I mean, because if we don't go live at noon, people are going to, as we know, let us know about it, and they're going to be very upset at us for it. So. The show must go on, but that's not only just to be here and to make sure the show's good to go, but yeah, just putting it all together, make sure that the great employees and the great people who are coming here, the patrons, if you would, can hear us on the speaker too, because I mean, what's the point of showing up here besides getting great Razorback apparel than listening to us? So, but yeah, no, I had to make it back here, and I know we're doing a giveaway for Razorback basketball jerseys, but also with Razorback baseball, they got all their apparel here too for jerseys and for hats. And they even have the little, I don't want to call it the coaches. Like they used to call it a shacket. I don't know if I want to call it that, but it's like the quarter zip short sleeve you see Dave wear. They even got some of those out there, which apparently have been hot commodities. So it's not just about the basketball; it's about the baseball. It's got literally everything. And I'm so glad that they're being consistent now, Arkansas, that is, with the logos, because they're all across the board, but different colors, different stripes, and looks pretty consistent.
I'm gonna definitely have to get that little BP top or that little like pullover. I guess that's what that is. But yeah, I didn't notice that at first. I'm definitely probably gonna have to walk out of here with one. Yeah.
I mean, they got just a few in stock while supplies last, because the other hot commodities here. But of course, again, we'll talk about everything that's going on. We'll get to your chats as well, which really appreciate everybody tuning in. But now we shift gears. I know you talked about Curtis this morning, pot at the Palace, but big news: Carter Knox not being able to go, at least for no timetable's been set after getting his knee scoped, but not going to be playing at least in tomorrow's game against Missouri. This is something I know kind of people felt like, and him dealing with injury and all that, but just pretty significant blow, even though some people may not want to admit it. It's a significant blow to Arkansas's basketball, especially with depth.
Yeah, for sure. Depth does matter. These injuries didn't stop Arkansas from doing what they did last year, but it still would have been cool if they didn't have to deal with it. And I think that's the same thing here in this case. Hopefully you get Isaiah Sealy healthy and back out there, and then you kind of still got your 8-man core like you were playing anyway. And I think that they're going to be just fine. As long as Darius Aakuff is one of those 5 guys that's out there, you're going to be all right. But hate that for Carter Knox. He's a guy who it's just been a tough season for him in terms of, it hasn't gone the way he expected on the floor with his production probably. And it's not the entire reason, but some of it is that he really hasn't been healthy all year. And that's not making excuses for him in hindsight or anything like that. But it's true. He missed time in the summer. He had the turf toe and missed some time at the beginning of the season. He had the hip pointer. And even when he was playing, that was still bothering him. Then you get the knee during the bye week of practice, which has got to be extremely frustrating. You're supposed to be resting up at that time. And then the first game he comes back, he slips on a wet spot, which it happens far too often for Arkansas. It's 2 years in a row underneath the bucket where that's happened. And now he's out. So I hate that for him. Wish him a speedy recovery. I hope that this is not the last that we've seen of Carter Knox in a Razorback uniform. For those wondering, is he out for the season? Is he coming back? As I understand it, that's not a definitive thing. It kind of depends on the nature of the procedure that they did. If it was just a true scope to go in there and clean it up, yeah, theoretically, he could potentially be back for some postseason, but they called it a repair in the release. And if that's what they did, which was not the impression I was under going into it, he's done. It's going to be a season-ending thing there. So we'll see what it looks like for him. Hopefully I don't know that he'll be back with the team by tomorrow, but hopefully he's back with the guys here soon. And the Razorbacks just going to have to rally. It's not going to be just Isaiah Sealy coming in and making up for it. Like, everybody's going to have to level up a little bit and provide some.
And I'm sure that pretty much every show we do for the next month or so is going to have that question of, so Carter, is he going to be back next game? Is he going to be back in this game? Or is he going to come back in 2 weeks? And we can have the conversation, but I do think that what we learned last year during the postseason is you can possibly get a guy back from injury and you can maybe, try and ease him in for a few minutes. You have to be prepared, though, as a team, as the Razorbacks. You have to be prepared to play without him. That is what Arkansas is going to do for the foreseeable future. And I think their mentality as a team should be, hey, we're not getting Carter back. If we do, great. but we cannot sit around waiting for another body to come in and give us, strong minutes off the bench. We have to be operating as if he's not coming back, because we saw that kind of hang over the Arkansas team last year, where you knew Boogie Fland was kind of in the mix somewhere and might come back. You knew Adu Thero wanted to come back, and he was kind of doing everything he could to get back on the floor. And you never really felt like you had your full squad. And then, of course, those guys come back and they don't really have much of an impact. I feel like that conversation also just kind of detracts from your team, because you're just trying to find a way to win each game. I think when you're sitting around waiting on people to come back from injury and you're sitting there playing that game, it's a little bit of a slippery slope that kind of gets in the way of you doing what you need to do. And so I do hope that Cal's able to kind of rally the troops and say, hey, we love Carter. We hope he does come back. I genuinely do hope that we haven't seen the last of him as a Razorback, but I do think that this current squad has to be ready. Someone like Isaiah Sealy has to look in the mirror and be like, listen, maybe this dude comes back, maybe not. But when he comes back, he's going to understand that, like, I have emerged. I'm a guy. And that should be his mentality. That should be the rest of the team's mentality.
Yeah, and I just see, not every fan's this way, but as we know, there's always a pendulum swinging of extremes. Like, there's some people that say it's not a big deal whatsoever. He's done. It's like he didn't do anything anyways. He wasn't any good. He might as well have put some walk-on out there. And then there's the other people that just be like, saying that this is the worst thing ever, that, hey, Cal, and the fact that he recruits this roster the way he does, which is a fair criticism. I mean, there's nothing against that. But it's just a matter of looking at the rest of the games, at least in the regular season, because that's the only ones for sure who you're playing and how you're playing it. You got 3 home games, 2 of them on the road, one of them against a team called Florida, which last time I checked was pretty good. It's just a matter of, okay, we'll just assume that, hey, he's out for the season. Regular season, at least, he's out. He's not going to play the next 5 games. It's a matter of, okay, against the opponents, against the matchups, against what you're seeing, I still feel like Arkansas can still navigate the schedule fairly easily. Now, I'm not going to say they're just going to beat, obviously, Florida, but I still think that it's something to where they can, at minimum, win 3 of the 5, hopefully 4 out of the next 5.
Yeah, that's absolutely still on the table. I mean, Arkansas still has all 5 of their starters. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we said going into the Bama game. They've got an experienced backup guard in DJ Wagner. They've got an experienced backup big in Malik Ewan, and hopefully they get I guess one thing we could say about Isaiah Sealy is he is a guy who, the more he plays, I think the better he's going to get, because it's experience for him. Like, the more he settles in, the game's going to slow down for him. He could start being more and more productive, and he's got the freshest legs in the country right now. He ain't been doing nothing, throughout the course of the season, but helping on the scout team. So getting him in there could actually provide Arkansas with a little bit of a jolt, and you'd be playing an 8-man rotation, which is what you were playing anyway. It just takes away from the wiggle room. I hope that Arkansas doesn't have a situation where 4 guys foul out again, but if they do, you're going to be right back there with Jaden and Elmer. So maybe you get them a few more reps with the fellas in shell drill or something. I don't know, but yeah, to your point, John, it's difficult, I think, to not operate on one extreme or the other when we're all fanatics about this kind of stuff. But just because something could be worse doesn't mean that it doesn't matter at all. And I think that's the fine line there. Arkansas's got plenty of players to navigate this thing and still do everything they want to this season. They just have a shorter margin for error now, and everybody has to be a little bit better. Sealy can step in. I really look at it, and like, you need Trevan to probably shoot better from 3 to make up for that loss. But I kind of look at this with DJ Wagner, and I'm like, man, this dude has gone from, he's coming back from injury. Like, I'm a backup guard now. Like, this is just, I'll be able to get in and give these freshmen a breather. Doesn't make him a bad teammate if he's upset about that, but that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. Now, DJ's playing no matter what. And so if I'm him, I'm like, dude, I've got a new lease on life. I'm just going to go out here and ball out. And if he's able to, he doesn't have to become Michael Jordan all of a sudden, but even come somewhat close to what he was last year, just what he's been throughout the course of his career, that gives Arkansas a huge lift too. So there are guys that can step up and help this team.
I'm certainly not about to argue that, like, hey, this is going to be a thing that makes Arkansas better. But we did see this happen last year. Adu Thero was a more impactful player for Arkansas last year than Carter Knox was. And you could argue Boogie Fland was as well. And Arkansas found a way to, I don't know if they got better, but they certainly leveled up in other areas to where down the stretch offensively, and we've talked about this a lot, Arkansas found something when Adu Thero left the lineup. Now, it wasn't because Adu Thero sucks and he was holding them back, but just sometimes you have guys that play better, like Trevan Brazile was kind of the big piece of that equation. I think he's certainly going to matter here as well, especially because you talk about versatility. That's something that Carter Knox brings. Nobody fits that more than Trevan, and so he's going to have to kind of help this front court that's struggling, but he's also going to have to provide some scoring lift for Arkansas. And DJ Wagner absolutely is going to have to find a different version of himself. And he's very capable. DJ Wagner, for what Arkansas is asking him to do, he is overqualified. He's not a great player. He's not a, future, 10-year NBA vet or anything like that. But Arkansas is asking him to be legitimately a 7th, 8th man who gives you 20 minutes. He is overqualified for that role. And so I'm hoping we see a better version of him down the stretch. And I do think that's possible. And so I think that's the challenge now for this Arkansas team. It doesn't have to be a negative Carter thing at all or anything you feel about him, but you have to, everybody in this team, look at each other and be like, hey, what can we find that maybe we wouldn't have found if Carter were in the lineup? Like, what's something we can do differently that can maybe give us a little extra layer? And that's what all the good teams and really great teams that go on runs in March do, is this time of year, this little 3-week window, they find something that they can really harp on and find something that they can really add to their identity. And for Arkansas, you have no choice but to continue searching, because you're going to have to play different lineup combos. You're going to have to play Isaiah Sealy more. Guys are going to have to be in different roles. They might have to guard someone they wouldn't have had to guard before. It's up to them to kind of find what they can figure out in that meantime.
Well, and I know, again, we're talking about this season. We're talking about that they still got work to do. We don't know what they're going to do when the NCAA tournament comes around and everything. But part of me, I was laughing, not that this is a funny thing, but laughing at the fact of what if they, hey, they don't have Carter. Hopefully they don't have any other major injuries that cost them. They get into the tournament, say they make at minimum the Sweet 16 again, make it to the second weekend. I feel like that's going to become the new thing of like when Muss was here, is like, well, if they struggle in the SEC regular season, they're going to get hot in March. You just start counting on that. And then now, where it'll be from Calipari, anytime it's like a player gets injured, it's like, well, hey, listen, they're going to be better from it, and it's going to be fine. Again, I'm not saying that for sure will happen. We don't know, but there's part of me that wonders if there's going to be fans that start kind of believing that, and then almost passing it along, where it's like, well, injuries, who cares? It's no big deal. It's no big deal. We've done it before. We've navigated before. We did it last year. It's like, hey, man, there's just different circumstances. I hope they still do, and I hope that Carter makes a speedy recovery. I hope he comes back in time for the tournament or whatever time frame he's back. But I just hope some Razorback fans aren't blowing this off as just kind of like, what happened last year, therefore it's going to be fine again this year. You just can't look at it that way.
Yeah, we did that with Muss's team that last year. To your point of like, they always stink in January, but they always figured out they'll be fine. And then it was this time in the season we were like, oh yeah, I guess it's not going to work out that way. To your point though, on what you were saying, I almost, because he talks about it so much, I almost worry more about John Calipari playing into the bit with this. He seems like that type of guy, because I look at it and I go, man, after 2 years of this, and they'll probably be able to overcome it again, but why even play with fire and be in this position? I hope he extends his roster by one player next year, just one, because that can make a huge difference. Cal's probably sitting there right now in the staff meetings with Chin Coleman. He's got his feet propped up, and he's like, it's always until we're down to 6 guys when we figure it out. So why not just recruit 6 from the beginning? Like, it's just it's wild how his conviction for having a short roster is so strong there. I wouldn't, theoretically speaking, he actually dropped it by 1 this year. He might do it again next year. Wouldn't surprise me.
Let me ask you this. Does it help that Arkansas only has to play 5 regular season games and then however many tournament games and then however many NCAA tournament games, where it's like, if this were the entire season, we would all agree, yeah, that's not sustainable, not going to work. You can't do that. Do you think it maybe helps a little bit that it's like, you're pretty, the calendar is going to turn to March next week, and you can kind of look at your team and say, hey, I know this is going to be hard and this is going to be tough, but it's just one game. Just one game. We can get through it. And then you go on to the next game. Come on, it's just one game. You can get through it. Does it help that Arkansas, because when Boogie Flan went down last year, Arkansas was 0-5, and you were early in SEC play. You kind of looked and it felt a little bit daunting. Does it help a little bit that it's really just a few games here down the stretch, and then we'll see what they do in the tournament?
This is the stretch run, man. Of course it does. Things tighten up this type of year anyway. And once Arkansas gets in the tournament, once any team gets into the tournament in postseason, it feels like that shortens up. Throughout the season, you'll see teams who, they might play 9 or 10 guys throughout the year. Gradually, the 9th and 10th man become, just a few minutes here and there, give guys some breathers. We do it strategically, but we're kind of really rolling with our core. And then the closer you get to postseason, those guys just get phased out altogether. We're actually seeing that happen with Missouri, who you play tomorrow right now, where Dennis Gates was playing 11 or 12 guys at the beginning of the year. They had a couple injuries, but he's been trimming it down. And now he's really given like 90% of their minutes to just 7 players. That's kind of how it works. Arkansas is just kind of being forced to do it by default here. So yeah, I think they're going to be okay. I mean, knock on wood that nobody else gets injured or whatever, but they'll be all right.
See, that's what I think that's the scariest thing for me is like, you've played, I don't even know how many games, but 30 games roughly, close to it at least. And you just don't want to be in a position to where you're just hoping and praying every single game that nobody gets hurt. Like that's the worst type of game you could play. Even when it was, I think it was I can't remember, was it the Auburn game where Aakuff kind of rolled up his ankle or like he started holding his leg a little bit? I think it was that game. Like that's the type of stuff where, of course, because he's great, but also just you can't afford any of that. You can't even afford getting guys getting banged up a little bit, like, or that just sucks.
That's a scary thing for me because, now it's out there publicly, but I think some people knew, but, Aakuff was walking around in the boot because of that. And Malik Thomas has been walking around in a boot and he's had his hand wrapped and, hey, Malik Ewan's got stitches in his head. Nick Pringle lives in that back brace. It's kind of like everybody on the roster, has something going on, which isn't uncommon at this stage of the season for anybody. But when you're already shorthanded and that guys are kind of playing through some things already, that's the only thing that concerns me. If we're talking about depth and impacting, it's not a game by game basis or they're not going to be able to get through the NCAA tournament or anything like that. It is kind of the cumulative effect of they didn't really get as much as you would hope they would from that bye week because they had to come back and immediately play shorthanded. Now they're shorthanded again for the rest of the way. You just don't want it to build up. So the more stress-free minutes we can get from these guys, because they're going to have to play plenty of them the rest of the way, the better I'll feel going into postseason. I'm almost to the point, not quite, because they'll still have 8. But if anybody else goes down, I'm going to very much be the guy of one and done in Nashville. Just be done with it. If they got their dudes, like go win that thing. But I'm starting to come around to the idea of, it would have been really cool to do something fun with an SEC title or whatever, conference tournament championship. Now I'm kind of like, I wouldn't be too upset if they save it for the big dance.
Literally, while you were just talking just then, I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, they honestly almost need to punt one of these games where they just don't play in the second half and they just kind of save themselves, get you a little bit of a rest there. Maybe on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, you just kind of punt the second half and then you get a little bit of a rest. And then I do think, I don't think you should go in there trying to lose, but I've typically been the guy that's like, it's really not that big of a deal to play 2 or 3 games. What's the difference? I think getting that Friday to Friday rest or Friday to Saturday rest, or I guess Friday to Thursday rest would be massive for Arkansas, especially because once you go to the NCAA tournament, that's when you mentally reset and you say, all right, it's time to lock in now. If this team's able to kind of ail, themselves physically a little bit and kind of get a little bit feeling better, that would be helpful as well. So I'm not saying Arkansas fans should not care about these 5 games right here, because I do think Arkansas is going to need to win a few of them at least. But I don't think you should be losing too much sleep over what it looks like in this regular season, because it really is just a race to March.
Really, really is. And also no overtime games, please.
Please.
No,
overtime.
absolutely not. None of that.
Because we listen, we love you, Elmer. But no offense. I just don't want to see you again on the court in a meaningful game. I just don't want to see you. It's because that usually means bad news bears for everybody involved. So no more overtimes. No more Doug Shaw games where you get the 80 fouls called. Like none more of those. Just everybody play in the game, stay in the game, and stay for the entire time. And then we should be good after that. That's all I'm asking. But again, folks, we're here at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue. Come on by and see us. When you come by, they got everything in stock for baseball, basketball, and all that. Hogs by 20 for 20% off your purchase of all the great Razorback apparel that they have here today. So we got that going on, and of course, with Razorback baseball. I'm wondering what the crowd. I know the crowd's going to be good because I've had people, of course, hit me up for tickets and everything, and we saw people lining up. But I'm just wondering for this weekend too, and given the weather and situation, I keep thinking, it's not going to be as good a crowd. I still feel like there's going to be like 5,000 people there at least.
There'll be 5,000 because there's just going to be enough of the diehards there. But I do think Saturday and Sunday is going to get a little bit hairy from a weather standpoint, especially when you add in you're overlapping with basketball for a little bit of portion of that game. Today, 3 p.m., and I know 3 p.m. on a Friday is tough for normal people that work normal jobs, but I do think with the sun out a little bit, I think this will probably be the best crowd, especially because there's probably a few people that are like, I'm going to go to opening day. And then once they've gone Friday, it'll be kind of easier to skip Saturday or Sunday. I can already tell I'm going to be annoyed because there's going to be 4,000 or 5,000 empty seats and I'm just gonna look on those websites and be like, so y'all just eating these? Y'all are just like keeping these in your pockets? Like you're just not gonna give them to anybody else?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think are you guys underselling it?
You think it's gonna be like a great crowd?
Well,
this
no,
weekend?
not a great crowd, but so how many can you fit in Baumwalker?
Over the 10 to 11K for sure.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's fair. I just in my mind, I've been thinking, I bet they get 7,000-8,000 in there for Friday. But I do understand,
I
like
bet
it's
the
a 3
Hawk
p.m.
Pen
and
will be packed.
Yes.
I'm worried that the actual seats will not be filled.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And I could also see, but here's on the other side of it too. I guarantee you that there'll be people buying Hog Pen tickets just to go steal someone's seat that's not sitting in the
which
stadium,
honestly,
which is fine.
That's literally what I'm about to do. So
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, you do what you got to do. Just however many people can get in there. But yeah, the 3 o'clock first pitch, and so see my guy Forrest over there. He heard about that BP thing. Got over there, and he's got to wear it. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a good crowd. I don't know, and I probably should know this. Have they ever played Xavier before? In
I'm
baseball?
sure they have, but I don't know. Let me check the media guide.
Yeah,
Filibuster for a while.
Yeah, I probably should have looked at the press release because usually they have that if they've ever had a series.
I did see. Now, okay, so Xavier had a good series with East Carolina. I saw the score last night from that midweek against Louisville, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, we were talking. Dave was talking about that today. It was 9-9 going to the bottom of the 5th, and then they just ran out of pitching, which didn't sound like the pitching was going that well before. But got crazy on them. Yeah,
let me 23-11 or
23-11, I believe was the final.
I like that though.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, they were. That's what's weird about Xavier is they did beat ECU, and their 2 best hitters did not play. And it doesn't sound like they're for sure to play this weekend. I cannot find this information anywhere because there's nobody that reports on Xavier baseball.
I was going to say,
as crazy as it may seem, there's not an injury report for them, but that's what's impressive. And Dave was saying how their coach basically just out of nowhere was like, "Hey, we want to play." And I think they missed the NCAA tournament just by a hair last year, so this is an opportunity for them to maybe get a big resume win or 2 on their schedule. But I think they are very confident in what they have, and I don't think Dave took offense to it of the guy being like, "Oh, hey, we think we got a good team. Let's go to Fayetteville." But it's like that tells you a little something that they were like they're during fall practice and they're like, we wouldn't mind taking this team down to Fayetteville for a nice little 3-game series. And so again, I don't think Dave was rubbed the wrong way by it, but I do think Arkansas is very aware that Xavier is coming in here with a lot of confidence, and they probably should be.
Well, and also too, I think we talked about when we were in Arlington about scheduling and how Dave handles that. It's like, I assume this man, we know what assuming does, but I assume that programs probably reach out to Arkansas, please, can we play you? Because they know that they'll get, the paid trip down. It's great experience for them.
Strength of schedule.
Yeah, strength of schedule is big. And it's almost like Dave and the staff and everybody, it's almost like they can pick who they want almost, it's like, well, we're not going to play this team that's going to just kill our RPI and everything, but we'll play this team. So I'm sure there's rhyme and reasons to playing a team like Xavier. I'm sure that again, if it's great for RPI, talked about what they did this past week, all of that. I'm sure there's reasons behind it, but I don't know. I'm good. I get tired of playing the Missouri states all the time. I like to see random teams like Xavier, which the only reason I know they exist is because of baseball or basketball. That's the only reason I know that school exists. So it's like, so I like mixing it up a little bit and doing some different teams, not just regionally, but Xavier, is it in Cincinnati or is it around Cincinnati?
It's right around it. Okay.
Right?
Right. Separated about 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, because those are super heated rivals.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when I Googled Xavier baseball, the first thing that popped up was actually Cincinnati baseball. So
they're not going to be happy about
tough.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty tough scenes there when something like that happens. But
which, by the way, this is the first time Arkansas and Xavier have ever played.
Oh, okay, cool. So history's being made.
Yeah.
Don't screw it up. Don't let them have the winning record on you. For forever, because they'll probably if Xavier took 2 of 3, they're like, we're never playing Arkansas again. We're going out on top.
Oh, dude, if I'm Xavier and you win on Friday, I'm sitting there saying, too cold for our guys. I don't know if we want to play Saturday, Sunday. I don't know, travel day. It's a little bit tough. We're good here. Let's just call it even.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. We're here at Alumni Hall, folks, but I got to tell you about Gracie Frizzell, who is our official real estate expert of Inside Arkansas. A lot of you that are coming into town this weekend for a major Razorback event. I think it's also it's like Parents Weekend or Mom's Weekend, Dad's, whatever, something dumb at the fraternities over here. I'm kidding. Don't get everybody get mad. But still, there's a lot of people going to be coming into town for all the events happening this weekend, but you're probably sick and tired of having to deal with Airbnbs or having to find hotels that are overpriced. Well, get you a game day getaway with Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates, because she's going to help you out each and every step of the way. And if you need a place where you can go in and hang out, and then you can also Airbnb it out when you're not here, she can help you out, and she's your trusted guide from start to finish. You can give her a call or text today, as she is licensed in both Arkansas and Oklahoma, at 501-690-3868. That's 501-690-3868. You can also check her out on Instagram at Gracie Frizz. It's Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates, the official real estate expert of Inside Arkansas. And real quick, I just want to play this because I think it's pretty cool. Last night, Gracie Frizzell got a shout out on ESPN, and she actually sent this to me because she said she watches a lot of women's basketball, and obviously Ole Miss, who she played for. And they called her out by name on ESPN, and she was so shocked by it.
Back in 2015, that's the last time Ole Miss beat LSU here in Oxford, led by Gracie Frizzell and Erica Sisley. Rallied from a double-digit deficit, then partied up.
So that was the last time. That was the last time that they. It's the last time that they actually ended up beating LSU at home when Gracie Frizzell was there, and I was like, wow, we don't even get shout outs on ESPN, and you're over here playing 10 years ago. So shout out to her. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, that's big time, man. That's really cool. I guess I should do my research. I knew she played. I didn't know it was like that.
I knew she was hooping like that for sure.
Yeah, she was a bucket getter.
She was.
Okay.
She was.
All right.
She won't admit it, but she was. And it's funny too because with like I asked her, I was like, I'm sure you like remember, because she texted me the video. I was like, so you probably remember that game, right? About 5 seconds later, I get a YouTube video.
She was like, do I remember it?
I remember this
Check out
game.
this step back.
Yeah.
Check out this drive to the finish.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, sometimes you get it. But no, that was a really cool moment for her, and really happy for her and all of that. But yeah, definitely hit her up for any of your real estate needs here in Arkansas as well in the state of Oklahoma. So, but yeah, a lot more things going on. Any SEC basketball games catch your nose a little bit? Anything like that going on this weekend? I know there's always SEC basketball, and it's so fun because it's like so tight of a race.
Yes,
that there's a lot of things that could be happening and going on here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm going to have my eyes on Tennessee Vanderbilt. That's one of two games that they play against each other here the last couple of weeks, kind of like Arkansas and Missouri. And so if you're thinking about the standings and a double bye and everything like that, you're tied with Tennessee, and Vanderbilt's a game behind you. So if Arkansas wins Saturday, not only will they gain a game on Missouri, who's at 8-5, they're going to gain a game on one of those teams. So that's an important result. I'm really, really interested in Kentucky going down to Auburn, because Kentucky's kind of it doesn't take long for things to go south down there with fan base and everything like that. They're fine for the tournament and stuff, but they lost a couple games in a row. People are mad about that Georgia game, and then you look at Auburn, 14-12. They're 2 games over 500. They just went to Mississippi State and they got popped down there. And there's such a weird case if you're a bracketology nerd like me, and you see, okay, their net and all their metrics and everything about it screams NCAA tournament team. But then you look at the record and you're like, at some point you got to win games, man. Mm-hmm. If Auburn loses this one at home, I just don't know how you can consider them an NCAA tournament team. I know they did like the little mock selection committee thing with all the media members, which I thought was awesome. Like, they literally sent them to Indianapolis to the NCAA headquarters, went through the entire process and put a bracket together. Arkansas, 4 seed, by the way, which was awesome. But yeah, they had, Auburn in there pretty safely. And I don't know, man.
This would be 9 SEC losses for Auburn if they were to lose, and this would be at home. Not like the most winnable game of all time. In fact, we've learned firsthand beating Kentucky at home is a hard thing to do sometimes. So it's not like a horrible loss or anything, but that'd be 9 SEC losses. And I think people have last year in their brain where you saw all these 6-8 win SEC teams make the tournament, and so you kind of think, oh, the committee will look past a bad SEC record. Well, not if you lost all your non-conference games as well. And I know Auburn had some wins in non-conference, but they missed some big opportunities there as well. They would be 14-13 overall. I'm with you. I don't know how that necessarily equates to an NCAA tournament team, especially with them trending downwardly, throughout the year. I've also got my eye on that Texas-Georgia game where that's a big bubble matchup where Georgia, I feel like if they win, Georgia's in a pretty good spot. If Texas wins, they're like locked in. Texas would be like, they could almost clinch a tournament spot this weekend. Texas has been playing some pretty solid basketball here lately, and Georgia's coming off a huge win at Rupp. And so if Georgia's able to win, you would definitely feel like, hey, they've kind of weathered the storm. They've avoided the usual annual collapse, and they'll probably sneak into the tournament. I think both of those teams wind up being NCAA tournament teams, especially if Georgia wins. But how about who would have thought that Texas would have a chance to be 9-5 in the SEC and would be kind of in this mix with all these top teams in the top 2 or 3? Like Texas would then start having a conversation about could they get a double bye? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about which games Razorback fans should be hate watching and everything. Obviously, like, you think LSU and Bama. Okay, who we root for in that one? Well, LSU. But
give me the Tigers.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. So it's like a few of those. Mississippi State, South Carolina, I'm really looking forward to. Just an absolute banger of an SEC. No, I can't even make that one make sense. Man, that's a SEC network nooner right there, baby. Not even on the plus.
I saw Chris Jans was on that Kansas State hot board. He must really he's on every hot board, man. He must be trying to get out of Starkville.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't?
I'd imagine
Chris Jans. But,
I thought it was a perfect fit. You want to talk about culture fits?
I know, right?
I really thought that Chris Jans at Starkville was like a match made in heaven. And they would be an 8 seed every year, and everybody would just be perfectly fine. Hopefully I don't say hopefully, but like I could see this end up just being a complete fluke year where they come back next year and they're a 9 seed and they just are back to their usual mediocre selves.
Senior year, Josh Hubbard running it back.
Is he a junior for real?
I think so.
Wow.
I just assume everybody's got another year these days.
I was watching Hubbard drop 46 the other day and thinking, man, imagine being like a Chinese basketball player who's like, you work your life and you're 19 years old. You get an opportunity to play on the China pro team, and then you just play the Beijing Ducks, and Josh Hubbard puts 53 on you. Like that, he is going to absolutely kill it overseas whenever he finishes his college career.
Yeah, well, again, there's a few good games here too. Of course, Arkansas is going to be playing A&M here soon. Oklahoma gets them at home, which I'm not saying Oklahoma's going to win, but Oklahoma's, we know it. They're like one of those teams. They're just good enough to beat you. They're not good, but they're good enough to beat you.
It's not off the table. Yeah, it's definitely not off the table there.
Yeah, so you got that game, and of course we know of Arkansas and Missouri. That game being at 3 p.m. Some people were asking about it. It is on ESPN. So that's back-to-back ESPN games for Arkansas. It's almost like people watch them or something.
Top 4 watch team in college basketball, I've heard.
Yeah. How about that? So
it's the Aakuff bump.
Yes, that's right. See,
people are hate watching Aakuff. Those nerds are getting on there hate watching Aakuff.
So I talked about this in my lockdown this morning. I want y'all's opinion. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. I feel like, I don't know, there's a way to track the ratings on one specific game, like us looking it up or something. But I feel like because of what happened Wednesday night and Aakuff, being talked about on First Take, being all this, that there are going to be more people that maybe didn't know anything about Aakuff or about Razorback basketball or college basketball in general, but because they saw it, they're going to almost like want to tune in because they're like, man, I heard about this guy. I want to see what he's like. And again, no way that I know at least how to look at the ratings, but I feel like there's going to be a lot more people paying attention to an Arkansas-Missouri basketball game than probably previously because of Darius Aakuff.
I would believe that. And then, if Aakuff misses 4 out of his first 5 shots after playing 50 minutes in a double overtime game and scoring half 100, everybody will stop watching and then start tweeting about it.
Yep.
Fluke.
Yeah.
Fluke. He is what we thought you already know.
Well, I also think we're entering that time of year where casual fans of college basketball, and I don't even say that as a knock, like there's just, the entire country, like say you're working an office job in the state of Indiana and you've got a buddy who's a college basketball fan. If you are a casual fan and you ask that buddy, hey, who are some like players I should watch during March Madness? He's going to list off the Darren Petersons. He's going to list off the Cam Boozers and AJ DeBances. Aakuff's not going to be too far down that list. And so I think he's also going to attract some interest from that standpoint. I think as we get closer and closer to March, Aakuff, there's going to be people that pick Arkansas to go to the Final Four simply because they watched an Aakuff highlight clip on YouTube.
Listen, and I'd love for him to follow up his performance against Bama with, the same performance. That would be pretty cool. He did that. But, man, it get to the point to where everyone's been paying attention to him. He always has pressure on him. But because of all eyes now really being on him, if he comes out and just has another banger of a game, like I'm talking 28, 9 assists, 1 turnover, like something, it's just going to be like, all right, this dude is not fazed by anything. And which is going to make me so excited for the tournament because it's like the NCAA tournament is child's play to this guy because pressure does not get to this kid whatsoever.
Yeah, it would almost be expected for him to have kind of an off night after that, which by his standards, we kind of already know what that means. That's still pretty good. But yeah, I kind of hope watching Missouri play, and Dennis Gates is the dude who he'll run a bunch of different defenses at you and they'll play quite a bit of zone and stuff like that. It might be a good game for Aakuff to just have one of those. And it is casual for him, but 20 points, 11 assists,
Yeah.
20.9 assists type of games and knock down a couple threes and just just prove himself as a point guard once again. Because that was one of the things I saw. He goes out there and has 49, and then everybody's like, well, it's just, he's ball dominant. He's not a point guard.
Yeah.
He's got tunnel vision out there. It's like, okay, he's on a heater. Relax a little bit. He had 5 assists and 1 turnover.
Yeah, historically speaking, your role guys are better at home. That just typically in the sport of basketball, it's easier for your 4th, 5th, and 6th guys to play better. So I do think this is an opportunity for DJ Wagner to take some of that creation responsibility. But yeah, run some offense through Trevan, run some offense through Billy, which they have been doing and doing successfully. I don't even want to say number 12's name and say that they could maybe run offense through him, but he hypothetically could be one of those guys. But I'm with you. I would sign up for the Aakuff. He's like 7 for 12 from the floor, but he has 11 assists, 1 turnover, and he just kind of controls the game. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, get more out of Malik Thomas. Get Billy Rich. Have that be kind of like your new big 3. You can just count on getting everyone 15 points or more every game.
Dude, 100%. I want to see the same type of aggressive mindset from Malik Thomas. That was awesome. And he kind of got into a mold of being a more efficient. I'm going to take 9-10 shots in a game or whatever, and I'll get my 15, and I'm not going to turn it over. But he looked like a straight sniper out there. I love that. I hope he needs to come out and shoot at least 8 threes again in this basketball game, especially if they're going to get zoned. It's time for it to click, and that just to be him moving forward. He's not always going to make 6 of 8 or whatever, but just being that aggressive. And then Billy Richmond, yeah, I mean he's been. It's weird how he's done what he's done. It's a little bit overshadowed because of the game that Aakuff just had, but. Yeah, I watching Missouri and thinking about they'll run some different zones and they'll try to extend it and stuff. Just get the ball to Billy in the middle of that, and it's going to be a bucket. He's so good at scoring right there around the rim. And what was Jimmy Dykes kept saying? Go catches. He's go catches, go catches. Okay, yeah, he catches a pass on the move. We got it. And finishing around there, and he's also really good at just finding guys from that. Help comes from the baseline. He'll lob it up there to Trevan. I think this could be a big game for all 3 of those guys too. I like it. The 3-headed monster works for me.
I'm just really excited and happy for Billy finally on the season, averaging double digits. He got to 10.
Yeah, how about that?
I think we even talked, maybe it was last week or week before. Like, so what's it going to finish with? Or was it Carter? I can't remember if it was Carter or Billy. It's before the injury, but it's like I'm good. It's like I see 10.0, like exactly, barely double digits on the averages, but it also helps when you have 20, 25, 13, 14 in your past 5 games.
Yeah, that'll do.
He's been tearing it up, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. But we're live here at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue. Come on by. Hogs by 20 for 20% off your purchase. Also getting in the running for winning a Razorback basketball jersey. It's not Kai Madden. I know people were asking. It's not Mike Washington. It's you. This is your jersey. You can put your name on the back of it. You can be 00 if you want that to be the case. But want to remind everybody, Blue Ember Smokehouse is one of our great sponsors here at Inside Arkansas because they are the best to visit when it comes to hand-specialized, handcrafted barbecue. They do it all, not only just from the tender brisket and the home-cooked sides, but we're talking about pulled pork. We're talking about the burnt ends, which I'm a huge fan of. They have all of that, and they have 6 different locations here in the state of Arkansas. So if you're in the River Valley, head to Fort Smith. If you're in Northeast Arkansas, head to Jonesboro. How about Southwest Arkansas? How about Texarkana? You can check that out as well. Central Arkansas, they got Little Rock. If you're out there on the lakes of Hot Springs, they got one there. And, of course, in Northwest Arkansas, they have the Rogers location where we are live each and every first Wednesday of the month at their Rogers location. So if you have yet to try out Blue Ember, be sure to do so. And if you have a big party, a big meeting, a wedding, anything that needs a lot of people to be fed some great barbecue, hit them up as they cater all events at any of those participating locations with the phone number on your screen near you. It is Blue Ember Smokehouse. Thank you for supporting your local Blue Ember Smokehouse.
I've got breaking news.
What's up?
Are y'all familiar with the That Guy Rocked Twitter account?
I am not.
Y'all are not familiar with this?
I know what it is.
You take this guy, he's posting college basketball highlights of like former college basketball players.
Yeah.
Michael Qualls has gotten the That Guy Rocked treatment.
Really?
I saw somebody tweet that said it was the whole thing, but no dunks.
Oh, really?
Did you watch?
I didn't watch it. I just saw that the tweet happened.
I like that though.
Yeah, I do like that he's getting some love. But yeah, you got to have some. I mean, I know he obviously scored like whatever 15, 16 a game or whatever, but yeah, I feel like you got to have some dunks in there. But I'm glad that he's getting that treatment though.
Yeah, no, I am too. I was thinking about this too. Speaking of former players, it seems like every game at home there's been some sort of, I want to say random, but it's like there's been some sort of former player that's there. This needs to be BJ Young's game. You need to bring him back. Bring him back to be honored at, even if he's in the stands, just say, hey, BJ Young's here. Actually, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of somebody who had a great performance against Missouri at some point in time.
Well, he's from Missouri,
And from
too,
Missouri,
you know,
being
so.
that, yeah. I mean, he'd be a good one.
What's Caleb Battle up to?
Oh, yeah.
I see.
By the way, I misspoke the other night. I said the last time someone scored 40 for Arkansas, they lost, thinking Mason Jones. Caleb Battle did have a 40-point game at the University of Arkansas that we watched in Arlington.
We
So
sure
it
did,
should have
yeah.
been fresh in my mind.
Man, yeah, couldn't believe that. So, because I was trying to think of any other, I forgot Caleb Battle, honestly, any other players from the St. Louis or Missouri area. Jimmy Witt. Hey, how about that? Bring Jimmy Witt back. He was from Columbia, exactly. So, yeah, bring Jimmy Witt back. That'd be awesome.
Has Trevan Brazile had a big game against Missouri yet?
That's a great question that I want to find out.
Game. There was one he didn't play well in that Caleb Battle game. I remember that because he was coming off an injury and he kind of just looked a little bit weird.
And I feel like he didn't play much against them last year because the second game they played against Mizzou was the game that Adu got hurt late. So he couldn't have played that much. I don't know if he's really been able to take it to him yet.
Well, I'm going to look it up and just see what his lines were against Missouri the past few years. The one they got just absolutely blitzkrieged in Columbia last year. He only had 7 points, 3 or 4. It was 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. That was phase that he had. But then when they played Missouri later, he had only let's see. Oh yeah, he only had 2 points last year against them at home. So
what's Mike Anderson doing? Why can't he come to this game?
That is a great point.
He's the guy. Yeah. He's the guy you bring out, and especially because one, like, it's been long enough at this point. There's been another coaching tenure change. Arkansas should bring Mike Anderson back just to say what's up. And I think this would be I don't think they're going to do it, on short notice, but I think that the Missouri game would be a funny time to do it.
Cal would not treat Mike Anderson with the same,
not as Nolan,
of course, but he would probably give Muss a warmer welcome back than Mike.
Probably because Mike and him had some spats.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. John, prepare yourself for this. Houston Nutt's going to be there.
Yeah,
come on.
I know.
He won't be wearing red. I'll just tell you that.
No,
exactly.
He's going to be wearing baby blue because he thinks that he's neutral. And all these people are like, hey, get this guy as the AD and stuff.
Yeah, despite him being a candidate for AD, he will not be wearing red at Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah. In fact, he's not rooting for Arkansas. Oh, he's rooting for his brother. Yeah, that's right. But he goes and speaks at Eli Drinkwitz's school and does all that. So, yeah, I want to hear it. But either way, I know that's happening, and I'm just going to have to just be mad when it does and deal with it. But the best game, I just looked it up, that Trevan Brazile had against Missouri was that one in the absolute just destruction that they had last year where he had 12 points. That was it. And it wasn't a good game. But that was it.
This needs to be his moment.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, because I guess you get another time. You get to play Missouri at the end of the season.
He's been some lopsided results because he was on Missouri when they lost 89-44 at Arkansas.
Sorry, I messed up. It was 18 minutes, 7 points, but that is his best game.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's tough, man. He needs to get him. Well, he needs to get him at the end of the year at Missouri because that would be funny. But he needs to get him here in this spot. I think about his matchups too. Mark Mitchell's still there at Mizzou. I remember Trevan did really, really well against him when Duke came here, when Mark Mitchell was there. And so I like that matchup for him. But then the other guy that he's going to be guarding is literally young Trevan Brazile. They got this dude over there, Trent Pierce, who's 6'10". He is playing like a guard out there and shooting threes and stuff. So he's got to remind him who his elders are.
Should we ask Ryan what his thoughts are on TB going into this matchup?
No.
See what he thinks.
We already know.
I'm about to say, no, we already know that one. Who was this is just random, but wasn't there a player that was from Van Buren or Alma that played at Missouri for just a little bit? He was a taller player. It was around the Malik Monk age of that. I don't know why I thought his last name was Mitchell. But anyways, I remember him kind of going up to Missouri, and that frustrated some people, and he played a little bit, but maybe somebody's going to be, well, they'll let me know. But either way, there's been a lot of connections, Razorback basketball, and Missouri basketball, unfortunately, of players going up there, Arkansas taking their players, taking their coach, with Mike Anderson and everything. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Mike Anderson, did he ever get settled with that St. John's thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if he didn't, he should have. And if he hasn't, if he just settled, I'm sure he got plenty of money. So
Patino made sure he was taken care of.
Yeah. Probably made him.
They don't do this in the courts.
I'm about to say, yeah, or else, yeah, hopefully. I'm just glad that it settled itself because, Mike Anderson could have been turning on some Frank Sinatra in his car, and then he ends up being a highway with the mob connections at St. John's. Hopefully, I'm glad they didn't have to do that. So, but again, folks, we're here at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue. Come in and get Hogs by 20 for 20% off your purchase. Also want to do this
Mitchell
Smith. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Yes, Mitchell Smith. I knew it was a very basic name. Here you go, Andrew.
Oh, this is my salsa?
Yeah, this is your
Heck
salsa.
yeah.
I got Curtis
I'll
one.
give you a review.
Yeah. So, but yeah, actually, let me take off the bubble wrap and just show the
I
people.
kind of like the bubble wrap.
Well, you can put
I'm
it
like
back.
2/3 of the way through my jar, by the way.
Only 2/3. I'm disappointed.
I can eat
yeah,
chips every day.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyways, I got a few jars of Rowdy's neighbor's salsa, which
Like that.
I went through the boiling process to make sure that lasts for a year in case once you open it, you got to refrigerate it after opening.
Sure.
If you don't open it, you got a full year. So to try it out, is it still good?
I'll let you know in about 353 days.
Yeah, just like when we're back here in Alumni Hall next February, just be, hey, by the way, I tried your salsa.
Keep it right there. Don't knock it over, Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could do that. So either way, let's go ahead and get to your chats, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here on this Friday. It's a great Friday. It's a great Razorback weekend and a lot of stuff going on. But as we all know, the rules, super chats get read first. But shout out to Heartbroken Hog. It says, anyone saying they don't want Knox back next year is crazy. Yes, he hasn't been what we hoped for, but you don't just get rid of a guy that can play 3 positions and have 2 years of SEC experience.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if he went somewhere else, given what you know, on the wing, like you might have Billy back, you might have Sealy back, you've got a couple guys coming in. So like something has to give there. But I agree with the premise of, you know, I think sometimes you just kind of have to remove yourself from what you thought something was going to look like. And not everybody is going to be a superstar. And we thought, given the trajectory that Knox was on at the end of his freshman year, and you went and got some feedback for the draft, and you had a whole offseason, you're going to come back and, you know, have a bigger role and be able to hit the ground running. And it just didn't happen. And, you know, that's part of it's on him. Your role is different. Your teammates are different. You're banged up. But it doesn't mean that he can't still be a very, very valuable player and be a piece of your rotation and be a piece for a good team. And you're 100% right. The reason why that's the case is because of his versatility. You can do a lot of different things with him, and you can also hopefully, you know, get a better version of him and a healthier version of him if he came back. So we'll see what it winds up looking like there. But I don't necessarily subscribe to the level of he's not an All-American this year, so he stinks type of mentality that I think some people have.
I also look at it from a, like, you're buying low. Like if you've held Carter Knox stock for 2 years and you kind of invested a lot of resources in him this year, going into next year, he's going to have less buzz than he's ever had before. His demand in terms of NIL and all that is going to be as low as it will ever be in his career. And he might play his best basketball. We don't know. We'll see how he's got to get healthy. But it's like, I feel like if you stuck with Carter Knox through the 2 years of ups and downs, why would you not go ahead and just see it through for a third year? What's the worst case scenario? That he's the DJ Wagner of next year's team? That he's your 8th man who plays 18 minutes off the bench? Is that the worst case scenario? If so, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. And also, I just fear, because we see it now almost with like Trevan Brazile, the longer you're at a place, even if you're fine, even if you're playing all right, the longer you're at a place, people get tired of you and have like they did that with Devo Davis. You know, like people are just getting tired of Devo, and it's unfortunate. But it's like they don't give the guys who stayed at your program the benefit of the doubt, which they should, because Trevan Brazile, I promise you, could have gone a lot of different places and been a starter and played.
Well, and here's the thing with Trevan. If we had told everyone preseason, hey, Trevan's going to average, 12, 13 points, maybe 7, 8 rebounds, a block, a steal, and an SEC play, he's going to be averaging like 3 blocks a game. Literally everybody would have signed up for it. Every single person would have been like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And now it's happening in real life and people are mad. It's like, so that just tells me it's like, you're just going to be, not to say that he's played perfect basketball, but it's like,
exactly.
You were just going to be mad unless he was literally like the SEC player of the year.
No, I agree with that. Me and Ryan, we always go back and forth on the TB thing, and it's fun to do that. And it's all in good nature. But I do feel like maybe the expectations kind of got off the rails on Trevan Brazile here. If he was Anthony Davis, he would have been in the league after his freshman year. I mean, it's a guy who's a 5th-year senior. He's having the best season of his career. And it's weird to me that this consternation has been building up over the course of the last few games when he's been leveled up and he's had to step into more of a role and he's had to play more minutes and he's had to do more. And no, he's not a perfect player. No, he wasn't great against Alabama, but relatively speaking, I think you have about 4 guys right now that you know you're going to get something out of every night. And he's one of them. So like, he's very low on my list of guys where I'm like, oh, okay. Does he need to shoot the 3 better? I think he's 25% from 3 in his last 10. Absolutely. And they need that now without Carter. Does he need to offensive rebound like he defensive rebounds? Yeah, that'd be really nice. I've been saying that all season long, but when you're out there and you're blocking multiple shots, getting multiple steals every game, scoring double digits and leading the team in rebounding every night, sometimes you're going to get scored on. Sometimes you're going to miss a shot. That's kind of part of it. But I don't expect a perfect player, but I'm pretty pleased with what we've gotten from Trevan.
Shout out to Butcher Boy. Says that Hogs by 20 came in clutch and some new hog gear here at Alumni Hall. Says, appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
talking
there we
ball.
go.
Let's use some real ball knowers. Yeah. Felt bad because I was like, I got in here like 5 minutes before we're going live, and he was hanging out and talking with us. I didn't get a chance to really talk with him.
I now know what Butcher Boy looks like.
Got another connection there, another face to the username.
Some real good combos in here.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It's because it's you got, if you want to talk Razorback ball.
This is a hub for Razorback sports talk.
I want to say something else about Trevan here, because I've seen a lot of this in the chat, and I get it. And I think this is part of Ryan's point too, which I 100% understand. It's like you think about what he did against Texas Tech, what he did against Louisville, these huge games where he goes for 24 and 12 or whatever. And it's like, well, we've seen that. We've seen what he can do. Why isn't he doing it more often? Well, we just saw Darius Aakuff score 49. Do you expect him to do that tomorrow? Are you going to be mad if he doesn't? If he goes for 20 and 4 instead, are you going to be throwing him under the bus? You know what I mean? Like, this is not going to be a thing every single game. Would we like to see it more often? Of course. But when you have a baseline level of what you're providing there and it's a net positive, I think you got to roll with it.
Yeah. Not only that, but real quick too, it's like, what's the one thing that Arkansas and their bigs especially need to have? Rebounding. Well, Trevan Brazile, just even since that Vanderbilt game where you start playing a lot better of your basketball, his worst rebounding game is 7. Like, that's his worst rebounding game.
Right.
So,
and we're also using he had 1 foul in 47 minutes, like against him. And
he had 3 blocks and 2 steals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if he's grabbing rebounds and he's creating a bunch of havoc on the defensive end of the floor, and you literally do not have a player that you can put in aside from him, I think that's great. I don't know, man.
I wish you would just speak with your chest and say, I'm going to not like Trevan Brazile no matter what he does. Like, that's what you should just say, and really figure it out with yourself.
Yes, Ryan, I do truly believe Trevan Brazile has been a net positive. What in the world are you talking about? I would say he's like a
plus 5 or 6 points on both ends.
Yeah.
And the numbers reflect that. He's one of Arkansas's best on-off guys. Every single one of Arkansas's best 3-man lineups involve him. Their best 4-man lineups involve him. Their best 5-man lineups, every single combination involves Trevan Brazile. Get your head out of your rear.
Yeah. Again, some of our listeners do take drugs, and we ask that you don't. So
they snort them.
Yeah. Like I said, just break them up with a credit card and snort them off of a MasterCard.
This is John's fault.
It is my fault. I apologize.
Actually, it's John's fault.
Here's what we'll do. Let's trade we've done the trade Mike's thing. Let's just move it back and forth. When you're talking, I'll move it over here, and then I'll take it. And
Yeah. Well, again, we're doing the best we can, folks. It was one of them days. So, either way, appreciate you still listening in. Let's see. Our guy Sharkensaw also says, we need Sealy to come in with a meat shield mentality where he isn't afraid to play physically and get fouls. His length can be huge defensively.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, that Mississippi State game where he just came into that game like a bat out of hell, like that was like the version of Isaiah Sealy that, frankly, I think you can get. Obviously, he's not going to, what do you have, like 4 blocks in that game or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it was wild.
He might not get his hands on that many basketballs, but I think that energy is something that you actually can expect from Isaiah Sealy. And defensively, I'm not saying he's like the best defender on the team or anything like that. He actually might have, one of the better base skill sets to be an above average defender on the Arkansas roster. And I think the size also, not that he's a massive human being, but I think his size definitely helps Arkansas because we talk about maybe fitting DJ Wagner in at the 3 and him and Malik Thomas and Aakuff all playing together. It's like, I think having Sealy out there gives you a little bit more flexibility from a size standpoint.
Also, too, I'm sure you've gotten this a lot, Curtis. I got somebody that was just like yelling obscenities in my DMs last night, asking why is Paulo Samito?
Paulo Samito because he's not good enough.
Yeah,
I mean that's just.
So I'm not to interrupt you, but it's like, this is the type of stuff that I will always use this same example. Do you really think that John Calipari, a Hall of Fame coach, has a guy on the bench that could help him and his team out tremendously? And he's like, no, I don't want you playing. There's probably a reason why he's not playing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're redshirting him for a reason. It was because he was a late signee. He wasn't with the team in the summer, so was very behind. He needs the strength and conditioning. He's got to add weight. He's 7'1". He's got some guard skills. There's some promise with the jumper. Like there's a lot of high ceiling stuff that you could be excited about, but he's nowhere near ready to be able to contribute yet. And you're not going to burn that 26 games into the season. I understand, like, people see that, and yeah, he was a he was a 4-star and a top 50 guy, but he was also kind of like a reclass. He hadn't been in the States too long because he'd come over from I think Angola maybe, but yeah, he's not ready. That's not an option for Arkansas.
I mean, listen, you can even, I mean, I wouldn't argue this, but like if you want to have a conversation about what big man should Arkansas mix into the rotation, it would be Elmer Zafich. And frankly, I don't think you should be making that argument because I don't think that that's going to necessarily work out the way you guys think it might. But like you could at least do that because he's played in some games. He obviously played the other night against Alabama. And so if you want to say, hey, they should maybe, Ewan and Pringle suck. Let's mix Zafich in there. That's at least an argument. It's a stupid argument, but it at least is an argument. The Paolo one where they made that decision 6 months ago that he was redshirting, and we've had this conversation 47 times. I don't know what you think is going to change now.
Well, and I know that this is a conversation that can be had and people can bring it up. But my whole thing too is also, or your big men just step up like they're supposed to and play.
Yeah.
How about that?
The guys you've
like that
allocated
idea.
resources, the guys you are paying to play, I think they should
guys
probably
that
contribute.
are 3, 4, 5 year dudes playing in major college basketball. How about them? How about we start there and they step up and don't worry about the guy who's on the bench and being redshirted. Let's do that.
I'm sure the less talented and less experienced guys behind them are better, though.
Yeah, totally. That's how it usually works. It usually works. Cardiac Hog, appreciate the super chat. I tried to find it if he had another chat follow up, and I did not see it. So, but
thank you.
We appreciate it.
I like
right there. Okay, there we go. I don't know.
There we go.
Cameron, is that you? Okay. Well, see, this is why Cameron's the best. Cardiac Hog says, imagine if Ament was on this team. He was a plan for Cal, no plan B, so Cal had to scramble for Artel.
Rattel was
Timeline.
already signed, sealed, and delivered months before Ament made his decision. But I would have loved to your point though. I would have loved to have Nate Ament.
It would have nice, yeah.
But I there wasn't a scramble mode situation. Like they were going to go get their two bigs anyway, and they went out and got Pringle and Ewan. I think because we know that they were still involved with Ament and everything after that, they would have taken him and they would have extended the rotation to do it. Like that was the pathway to them having an extra body in there. And instead they didn't get him. Cal was very big on, hey, we might be open to adding something if the right fit came along. Didn't find it. And then they looked over at Suey and they said, let's see if he can become our de facto ninth man there. But yeah, I mean, Ament's come a long way.
The hindsight 2020 thing to do here, and I think this is a tough one to do because, again, hindsight is 2020. It's easier to look back and say this. If you were doing the hindsight game, you should say, maybe you say Carter Knox, you're forced to stay in the draft. You just go be in the draft, go get your money. We will take whatever we were going to pay you, add it to whatever bag we were going to offer Nate Ament. Now Nate Ament is your Carter Knox, and he would be healthy and available and playing good basketball. That would have been hard to pull off, and I hope people can at least understand that. But that would, if you want to do a hindsight 2020 thing, it would be that. It definitely wouldn't be Kareem Rattel, who signed whenever they were they were still playing basketball. We were literally in San Fran or Providence when the Kareem Rattel thing happened.
Yeah. Which again, folks, we're here at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue in Fayetteville. Come by and use code HOGS by 20 for 20% off your purchase. Aussie Maverick, he sent a super chat, but it is something that I did want to bring up. He says RIP Wes Rucker, which for those of you who don't know, like Wes Rucker is a guy that he covered college football and all college sports for Tennessee many years. I believe worked for 24/7 Sports at one point. Did a lot of different outlets, a huge follow. Tragically was killed in a car accident last night, and he has a wife with a kid and one on the way. And it was just tragic to hear that news, especially, and it's tragic for anything, but in our industry of knowing him and hearing of him, it was really awful. And I know that there's been a huge push for, helping out and supporting his family. A lot of people have tweeted out, but just a tragedy last night with Wes Rucker.
Yeah, I really hated to see that. And I didn't know him that well personally, honestly. And I mentioned this on the pod, the Palace this morning, but most of my interactions with him were, going back and forth about the Jalen Williams charges. And I remember one time, you'll probably remember this, we had a little back and forth on the message boards about Tennessee baseball and Tony Vitello.
I do.
But I love that kind of stuff. But that it's terrible, man. That's so tragic, and it hits home. It puts a lot of things in perspective. I mean, I think about it from my standpoint here, and it's similar industries, career paths. Now you have a wife who doesn't have a husband, and you have, a young son who had a hero that's not going to be around anymore, and a daughter on the way that's not going to know her father. And that was crushing to see that last night, man. So that's tough for the Tennessee community. I can't even imagine what that family's going through. And I know that they're getting a huge outpouring of support. That's not going to fix anything, but hopefully they can get some solace in that. And I just I hate it, man. So, thoughts with everybody that's involved over there. It's just a terrible situation.
Absolutely. And of course, prayers to his family, prayers to everyone involved, and obviously that Tennessee community too. Because I mean, not to say he's was like a superstar of Knoxville, but it's like he was as respected and as consistent and as proven as any media guy they had, And the reason why we all know who Wes Rucker is because over the years, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, Arkansas and Tennessee have been doing stuff, and he's been covering it. He's been the voice that you could point to and say, oh, I'm mad at him for this or whatever. Or, oh, I disagree with him on that, because he's there every day. And my thing is, there's obviously all kinds of people in our business and in our industry that we cross paths with. Some we like, some we don't like, some we're not crazy about, some we love. But I can always respect the people that are just there every day and that just do it year round and they never stop. This is just what they want to do, and they've just gone full blast with it. And Wes epitomizes that for sure. Like, there was never any question about how committed he was to his craft, how committed he was to the job. And frankly, in terms of Tennessee, I can't name anyone who was more prominent, honestly, on that Tennessee beat. And so, it's certainly going to be missed by a lot of people, and just praying for everybody involved over there.
Yeah, and also think he was a guy I had on my radio show years ago, and it's like, and I feel like I could say this, and this is not. It's like I had so many disagreements with that individual. Like I disagree with so much that he did and said, but I respected him in the way because he never that's what I like and respect people in sports these days is like, if you have an opinion, you don't shy away from it. Sure. You don't back down from it, whether I agree with you or not. At least you're saying it and you're putting it out there, and you don't care how many people disagree with you on it. Like, that's why I really respected him for what he did. And again, I disagreed with so much that he said, but I always respected him as a media person and as a guy who just grinded and put in the work and didn't really care what anybody thought. So I love that about him.
And I saw, people were putting out that clip of his the last show that he did, which was just right before.
Hours before.
And that was kind of the message that he was putting out there of, hey, your agreeance isn't mandatory with me, but one thing I can guarantee you is that you're always going to know how I feel about something. And that's kind of a similar boat for how we are here. And so I thought that was an interesting deal there, but just, yeah, man, that's tragic prayers to the family and everyone over there that's involved. Just sad deal.
Yeah, really is. Not really a great way to segue that, but we're going to do our best. But I want to remind everybody that we're here at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue. And a reminder that Hickey & Hole Law is the official law firm of us here at Inside Arkansas. If you need any legal advice, legal help, legal guidance, there's only one place that you ever need to go. It's Hickey & Hole Law. They do divorce and custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury, estate planning, and more. And the great thing about it is they also have offices across the entire state of Arkansas, right up here in Northwest Arkansas in Fayetteville, also in Fort Smith, also in Little Rock, also in Mena. So if you need anybody to help you out and guide you through every step of the way, because you don't need to do any of these things alone. You need to make sure you have people who put in the work, who have seen thousands, tens of thousands of cases and know the examples of how to guide it and how to do it. Then have Hickey & Hole Law take care of you. You can call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. Again, folks, live here at Alumni Hall. Got Razorback baseball jerseys in full swing. Did we decide? I think it was last year. Was it the whites that we liked the most, or was there a?
So I own the pinstripes.
Yeah.
I will probably soon own the whites because I've enjoyed wearing it here. It changes for me day to day. Sometimes they wear that red, and I'm like, that's their best jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
the gray is off the table.
Yes, they are off the table. Only just because, nobody's gray uniform is their best.
Right.
Even if it is a gray. And their gray, by the way, has gotten way better over the years. I really didn't like when they had the gray that had, the red on the armpit. I wasn't a fan of that style as much. They have settled into, I think we've now settled into the perfect stage of baseball uniforms where all of them are good.
I was going to say, the cream, they don't do creams anymore, though, do they? Or do they have creams still?
They didn't wear them last weekend.
Yeah.
They wore them way less last year. We'll see. Hopefully Sunday we see them, but have not seen them around as much.
I don't see any anthracite. I can tell you that.
No.
It's a shame.
Now, Dave ain't no anthracite, man.
That's not really a baseball. Tennessee will do it, but
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. They used to wear the BP tops that would be anthracite, but they've
Yeah.
never, I don't think baseball's ever done an anthracite uniform.
Yeah.
Softball has.
Yeah, they're big on that and a lot of other sports because I don't think Razorback basketball has done it. Did they do it last year? Did they ever do anthracite under Cal?
I don't think last year.
No. Well, we know under Pittman they didn't because they were like, we got 2 jerseys and that's it. Like they're not doing any other adjustments or anything else like that. So yeah, 2 jerseys and that's it. Getting to a few more of your chats, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Trey just says, feel bad for Knox. Big picture. If he is done for the year, do you see him going to the draft portal / returning? Which I know you discussed a little bit, but
man, I don't. I mean, I just don't think he's going to get drafted at this stage. It's hard to say. Like kind of like we talked about earlier. I know it's a cop out because I just don't know for sure. I think if Billy returns, I feel like Carter's probably playing elsewhere next year. If he works himself into a position where he's going to get drafted and he goes, I think the likelihood of Carter coming back goes up quite a bit.
Yeah. And I do think it's clear, like, Arkansas should probably want Carter Knox back. I would understand if Carter Knox didn't want Arkansas back. Not in a way that, like, he's salty or he's, mad or whatever. But, sometimes you do just kind of need a fresh start. And who the hell knows what kind of advice he's getting, who he has in his ear or whatever. And Arkansas does have a lot of wings potentially on the roster, regardless of what happens with him and Billy. You might have a lot of wings on the roster.
Could be it's going to kind of have the look of an Eric Musselman team.
Yeah, just a lot of 6'7" guys that can't shoot.
Not the worst thing in the world, but defense, right?
So. It's hard to score on those teams.
Yeah. Well, listen, I like this comment until I saw who it was from. It says, need one of those white jerseys Curtis is rocking. Well, 1, if you come in here to Alumni Hall, we're doing a drawing to see who wins it. And 2, you're a Texas A&M fan. Why are you saying this?
He is a Razorback fan, though. Like, I think he's maybe married to a Razorback fan or something like that.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
But he won't admit it publicly, but no, he's like, that guy is calling the Hogs as vigorously as any of us.
Like, okay, first off, I don't know if he's married to a true Razorback fan because no true Razorback fan would ever marry an Aggie. Just saying. And 2, like, if I wouldn't trust you with giving you a jersey because you'd probably burn it or you'd put some weird cult hex on it and start doing some weird stuff with it, and go bury it in the backyard with some like collie dog that you sacrifice to the gods of your cult. Like, no, I'm not having that stuff happen.
And here's the thing with Luke too, because he was climbing up my power rankings list because I appreciate the folks from other fan bases that don't drive me absolutely nuts, but you can't do the thing where your team starts losing and you disappear. And so
and he tried to sneak in whenever Arkansas lost to Bama and tried to like do a little victory lap. That is a little bit like, Luke, you're better than that.
He is. He's absolutely better than that. If we didn't know that, we wouldn't say something, right? But Wednesday, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday.
Texas A&M comes. I know if they beat Arkansas in that game, you were going to be around. The flip side, like, attendance is mandatory. You got to come in and wear it no matter what happens.
Yeah. None of this stuff of like, oh, my kid was sick. Nope. We're not accepting any of those excuses. So you have to be there.
Hanky panky. Good for nothing.
Justin also says, I got to have me a new jersey. I'm going to get one. Well,
this is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Got the spot for you.
Yeah. I don't know if you mean basketball or baseball, but guess what? They have both for you. So
Justin, we'll even give you an exclusive code, Hogs by 20. Yes. You can get 20% off.
Yeah. Nobody has that code. Yeah. Just for you. Don't tell anybody about it, though.
Say,
obviously.
I am Justin, and I'm here for my 20% off. They'll know
right.
they'll know.
That's right. Also, let's see. This Roman says big head dude in the middle. Who's this?
My brother.
Oh,
I was looking at that. And I was like, who said that? I'm like,
I was like, who highlighted it? Like,
I noticed. I saw a Facebook comment and I was like, oh, that's random. And I saw the name. I was like, oh, it reminds me of the other day when that person was yelling at me in all caps.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, that might be because that's something he would say to me, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a username and stuff like that. But shout out to Roman.
I like that.
Yeah, that's funny. Hickory Hog says, how much do we have to super chat to get John sitting next to Houston Nutt for the game? Reunite some old friends and almost father-in-law. There is not enough money on God's green earth to make me have that type of torture. I would rather stick a toothpick between my big toe and toenail and kick a cement wall than have to deal with that. I would rather play naked twister with the ladies of the View before that ever happens. So there's not enough super chats that you could do that. You talk about misery. That's a lot of misery for me. So hopefully that answered your condescending question there, Hickory Hog. Anyways, Caleb Moore says Connor Vanover went to Mizzou. Did he? He did. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
of course he did.
Yeah, that was the year when Dennis Gates brought the entire team to SEC basketball media days.
And they didn't. He brought his entire team, but they didn't let them do all the stuff.
That's right.
Didn't have them all at the podium. So I remember while Mizzou's players were up there, all 7'6" of Connor Banner was just standing alone in the middle of the room. So I went over there. I'm like, "Hi, Connor.
Yeah,
how's it going, buddy?"
Yeah, I remember that. So my nephew decided to just check it all out over here. Let's see. Michael says, sure hope Arkansas does not come out flat from the emotional loss to Alabama and Missouri runs up an 18-point lead to start the game. Hogs might be tired of it. Won't wake up until the second half.
This is something to be concerned about, absolutely, of like how Arkansas is going to respond. The good thing is Missouri is just as likely to lay an egg as Arkansas is.
They do that randomly at all times. And yeah, I mean, they just had this an emotional game for them. Picked up a top 20 win against Vanderbilt. It was a weird game where they were feeling great about it, then they blew the huge lead. They came a millimeter away from turning it over and losing on a half-court shot in the final seconds there. So, yeah, that was a weird game for them, too. A lot of their guys, they didn't play as much as Arkansas's got, but it was like 37 minutes, 37, 36. So they're not going to be completely fresh and, without the chance of a letdown either. But it is like and I think you might have mentioned this. I can't remember if it was on air or not, but this is like a punch your ticket type of game for Missouri too. So,
It's weird though that you have 5 games left and you're playing Missouri twice, like not spread out at all. Like it's just like, yeah, you still have this team to play twice. So, Derek, appreciate the super chat. He says, who is the backup point guard next year if DJ is gone? Billy?
Does Jordan Smith Jr. count?
I feel like he probably would, right?
Although I don't know.
He's probably the starting point guard.
I think you go get one, I think DJ is probably the actual answer, but I think you go get insert transfer guard who's
quick and
can like a backup that just isn't stupid, hasn't played much, hasn't done anything crazy. He's not going to cost you a ton of money, but just a guy that has played basketball.
How about Boogie Flan?
No.
Yeah. Somebody's going to ask me, he's not good enough to get drafted, so therefore, just go get him in the portal, bring him home, bring him back.
He's going to be averaging 27 in Beijing.
I've had a bunch of people texting me about Tahad Pettiford because they don't think he's happy with Stephen Pearl over there and that he might be portaling and everything, which I think he's a really good player. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd gladly accept him.
I probably would. I don't know how I feel about the culture over there.
Yeah.
Like bringing that into my locker room. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
That'd be weird. Let's see. Ryan also says, expecting my grandchild any day now.
Oh,
that's
wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's really cool.
Did we find out that he was like 47?
We did, but also I thought this just happened. I thought that maybe it was like a couple weeks ago that he was like, I'm soon to be a grandchild or a grandpa.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. But yeah, well, congrats when it does happen.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Let's see. Ozzy says, Ellis, what's the greatest threat Xavier presents to Arkansas? Also saw where they're dealing with injuries to their best players.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see if their top 2 guys end up being in the lineup. It was their first baseman and one of their outfielders who were both preseason all Big East guys, did not play last week. Those guys would present a nice little threat. I'll be honest with you, there's not really much with the Xavier roster that you look at and you're like, oh man, like they are very good in this one area. It's just a solid, well-rounded bunch, a lot of returners. If there's one guy I would point to is they have mostly right-handed pitching, but their top bullpen arm is a lefty, Garrett Helsel, who's 6'5", 240 lefty that throws 89. He's just like one of those weird pitchability, experienced veterans, fills up the strike zone. I feel like guys like that on these mid-major teams are like the worst people to face because you really don't face guys like that in the SEC, if I'm being honest with you. There's not really a guy on Arkansas's roster. Like Parker Coyle is kind of that, lefty that throws 88, 89, but he's like 6'1". This guy's 6'5", 240. It's just a weird angle and throws a big breaking ball that gave some people trouble last week. And so I think Arkansas's middle of the order, you have Kojal, Robinette, potentially Souza, all right there in the middle. I think they will probably go to this guy as kind of their like, hey, let's see if we can throw him off. Arkansas kind of struggled against some really, the lefty they faced against TCU was like 98 with an 89 mile an hour slider. This isn't necessarily that, but I imagine Garrett Helsel will be kind of the pitcher. If Arkansas is in a situation where it's like 3-3 in the 7th inning and Xavier goes to him, I won't feel super comfortable.
Well, I'll say this too. That there's going to be like that bullpen guy on Saturday from Xavier that comes in and gets like 5 strikeouts, and everyone's going to be like, get this guy out of the portal next year. Like right now, we need him. It seems like that happens so many times here in these early weekend series. Let's see. Austin from work says, Curtis, is it fair to say that Florida runs the SEC because they're the only team with legit bigs in the conference?
That's probably a pretty good reason why. I think it's a combination of it is the best front court in the country. I don't think that's up for debate. And all of them are returners from the national championship team. Like, if last year, I guess most of those guys were returning from last year too. I mean, they've been in that program for a while, but yeah, the mixture of they're just really, really good. The best offensive rebounding team in the country. All these guys started on a team that won the title. That's a big deal. So if we were to say that Florida runs the SEC, which they certainly appear to this year, they just won the title and they're 2 games up on everybody right now. So it's not a wild statement to make. It's not because of Boogie Fland, and it's not because of their guards. So, yeah, I think that's fair.
I was going to say them being 2 games above everybody would be why I would say they run the SEC.
For sure.
Austin also says on this topic, the Knox slander is BS. Add him to the no slander list. It'll be great next year. Do we need to add him to the no slander list?
Not yet.
If he returns to Arkansas for his junior year, he will then be officially a no slander guy.
Because TB will be off of it.
Yeah,
so
you got to have someone on there.
Yeah, we got to have some sort of representation.
DJ will be, if DJ comes back for a 4th year and he's like the backup point guard. You should never be like putting DJ down. That'd be just mean at that point.
Yeah. Let's see. Luke Gig'em Rise also says, I'll agree. I'll be there Wednesday, although I don't expect us to win. Y'all are damn good at butt.
I don't.
So wait,
this is weird.
Luke's gonna be there.
Yeah, he's got to come with his.
We got
his house divided sticker.
We got to meet Luke, right?
Y'all can be Luke. I don't want any of that cold on me.
I want to meet. I want to meet Luke.
I don't want to have any of that witchcraft going on.
I think he should be wearing like the full milkman outfit.
Yeah.
Catch me outside, Luke.
There you go. Ryan says, Andrew, are we going to get a post-game live for baseball? Also, any plans for midweek live watches?
You're not going to get a post-game live today, and you're probably not getting one Sunday, I don't imagine, just because this time of year, frankly, I don't think baseball live streams are like real hot commodities. In fact, I do one every week, and it's not like horrible numbers, but it'll certainly grow as the season goes on. And so, Ryan, I know you've been in the chat, so we'll continue to do the Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day basketball's not playing, we'll do a live stream. That will include, there will be some midweek games where Arkansas plays at 3 p.m. where we will just be live for that game. And so that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Once we get deep into SEC play and like basketball is for real over, it'll turn into Sunday afternoons. We will do some type of live stream as soon as the series ends. And this week is actually going to be the first week that I set the precedent of Friday game recap, Sunday game recap, and the Sunday game recap will be a little bit longer because you'll be recapping the weekend. But basketball plays on Saturday. I'm not going to put out a baseball video mid-basketball game. And then there will be weeks where SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. And so for the foreseeable future for baseball, it's going to be Friday, Sunday in terms of content. And those Sundays will be a little bit more in-depth. And then once we get into SEC play, those Sundays will be live streams. So hope that kind of cleared it up a little bit.
Okay, just a few more chats here as we're live at Alumni Hall, and we're going to have the drawing for who wins the free Razorback basketball jersey, which you get your pick. You don't have to have just the home whites or the road reds, or in some cases, the home reds, road whites. I don't know how it all works sometimes.
That is why they lost at Alabama.
Yeah, they got to just wear the white. They got to talk to Missouri and Florida, be like, hey, let us wear the white jerseys.
Yeah, come on, just be cool.
Yeah, just be cool with it.
Wear your alternates.
There you go. But Derek also says, is Mizzou going to have their whole roster tomorrow?
No, they won't. I mean, they're going to have kind of like Arkansas. They'll have all their starters and everything, but Javon Porter, younger brother of Michael and Jonte Porter, he's been out for a while now. Honor Boateng, who people from Arkansas are familiar with, he's out as well. So, they're down a couple bodies there. And like I said, Dennis Gates plays a pretty tight 7-man rotation. He's just got more options if things go sideways on him. Like he's a dude who started for UCLA last year that isn't even in his rotation, but he can go to him if he needs to. So they've got plenty of bodies, but no, they're not full strength.
Also, Derek asks, tragic indeed, talking about Wes Rucker. He says, is there a GoFundMe? Yes, I actually just retweeted it. Matt Jones of Kentucky Sports Radio has been putting out a bunch of links for it. So if you're looking for that, that'd be the best way to do it. Not a Burner says, John will gritty for money, but will never sit next to Houston Dale Nutt. You're correct. That is correct.
Well, especially post Kentucky win.
Yeah, that's when I'm in a good mood. But like, there's nothing about sitting next to Houston Nutt that would put me in a good mood. Beating Kentucky and grittying across the screen for, what was it, $500 that people kept saying? They're like, yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, that was really stupid. I still can't believe any of you did that. But we appreciated it anyways. OKC Hoggle says, Curtis, do you think Cal will target the top big in the portal this time?
I hope so. It depends on who. Sometimes guys enter the portal and they already know where they're going. I hope that happens for Arkansas in this case. Like what you see at sometimes where it's like Tipton will send out the graphic. And it's like, oh, so-and-so is entering the transfer portal. And then like 3 minutes later, you have the story that's like latest intel on, zeroing in on one school. He has a do not contact tag. That's what I hope this looks like for Arkansas center situation. You never want to accuse anybody of tampering, but it happens all over the place. Go find the guy that you want and make him an offer he can't refuse. I don't care. Yes, I hope that they do that for sure. They need it because you can't just don't leave it to chance again. You know what I mean? I know he doesn't want to overpay one guy relative to the rest of the roster and everything like that, but you got to go out and get a legit big man when you've kind of missed on that standpoint the last couple of years, whether it be because guys weren't what you thought they were going to be or injuries or whatever. You got to go out there and get a stud.
Also, let's see. Seth says, is the salsa gone? No, it's not. We have like one jar left, though. Or I have one jar left. I can't wait to see the reviews.
I'll sell mine to you for $100.
There you go. So if it's in that rarity and that hot commodity. So we got just one left, but there'll be more. There'll be more opportunities, assuming that people like it and actually sells. So
that stove is just on at John's house, bro. He's just cooking for 3 days straight.
I had to buy the
hot stove.
I had to buy the biggest pot of all time just to get the boiling water in there and put jars. It's a little weird because I feel like I don't know, like living in the stone age of how you canned goods, to make them last through the winter. But
you're
it's
gonna
really
be
just for
salsa
salsa
for months.
Yeah, just gonna have nothing but because I could get mason jars. I was trying to find out how cheap I could get them for bulk. Someone's like, we can get you 500. I'm like, I don't need 500 mason jars inside of my home at this point in time. It's bad enough as it is. So either way, we're here at Alumni Hall, about to wrap up here, but we do have to do our drawing for the free jersey, Razorback basketball jersey. You got to be specific basketball jersey for this. Either get the red or the white. I'm wearing the reds. Curtis is wearing the whites. You get your choice of it and your size of it. So I tell you what, one of y'all do this because people probably start thinking I rig. So one of y'all do the honors of taking out and seeing. Am
I picking? So, yeah, give me a good little. I'm not looking. I'm not even.
I think that'd be rigged if you did. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe wait till your birthday.
No, not that one. I'm just kidding.
You don't like this one?
Just kidding.
We got Brad Dutton.
Brad
Dutton. You want me to read his email?
Yeah. Read his email, phone number, social security, all of that stuff. So there you go.
Shout out to Brad Dutton.
Yep, you get your choice of a.
I don't think we know Brad Dutton.
Well, the thing is, we probably do, but he's got some weird username on.
Yeah, that's probably fair. But if, at least we didn't rig it for someone we like. Feel like Logan won.
Well, yeah. I said one, we never rig it. That's because we never want to do that. And two, we try to give all the love to everybody who comes out and uses the code and everything. So again, get your choice. Here's the thing: as I'm wearing the reds, you got to. If you won this, you have to choose the whites, though, right?
You got to get that 94 throwback.
Yeah, I mean the 94. Listen, again, I like this jersey. I like this one, but the home 94 throwbacks are the best ones. So
I was just, if I would have picked who it would have been,
would have gone. Okay,
it would have been Jim Neighbors.
Yeah. Now that would have been sketchy.
That would have been literally the worst thing in my life right there. Because then it's like from then on out, it's like I'm just get the accusatory rigging it for people. Because
you would have either had to go with it or you'd had to be like no and throw it back, and then people would have been really mad.
Yeah, so. And then everybody in the joke would be like, "Hey, Gomer Pyle, listen to that guy." Like, no, it's not. So, but yeah, so appreciate it. Appreciate Brad. We'll get your information. We'll get you set up with Alumni Hall, and congratulations on winning the jersey here. It's been fun being here again, folks, for Razorback baseball. They got full jerseys in stock. Razorback baseball caps too, because I know people are big on that. If you want to go and look like Nate Thompson out there about to be taking BP, you can look like that here at Alumni Halls. They got everything you possibly need. They got high-end gear. They got polo shirts. They got sweatshirts, hoodies, men, women, and kids, every single thing that you could possibly want. So, guys, before we roll out of here for the day, any final thoughts?
I echo all that. It's always good to be out here and hang out. They got all kinds of cool stuff, and there's been a bunch of people in and out of here since we've been doing the show, getting decked out, seeing a lot of awesome Razorback gear coming off the shelf. So make sure you come out and take care of that and enjoy the weekend, man. It's gonna be awesome. Baseball getting rolling. Obviously, basketball at Bud Walton Arena. Make sure you tune in for all the content we have coming your way.
Yeah, excited to see you at Bomb. And make sure you don't start your weekend. When you get off work today, don't start your weekend without tuning in to the Bombastic Podcast. We're going to be recapping Game 1 of the Arkansas Xavier series, which is going to be a dominant win, shutout from Gabe Gackle, all of that. And I'm hoping I get there in time to get that cool little hoodie, by the way.
Yeah, is that what they're doing to give away for us?
Yeah, like first 1,000, but I don't think I'm going to be in the first 1,000.
I'd say if everybody from Rising and West Fork are already there in line for the hog pen, you probably are not going to have much of a chance that way.
I don't have a guy on the inside this year. My guy last year is no longer working for the operation. So
is that why he's not working there anymore? Is because he was on the inside?
No, I think he just moved on to greener pastures.
Oh, well, there you go. No, we do appreciate everybody listening in. Appreciate Alumni Hall. Appreciate all of you tuning in, and we're going to have all the content, as Curtis and Andrew said, of Razorback baseball, basketball, football, spring practices around the corner. We're going to have it all right here in Inside Arkansas. So be sure to subscribe to us here in Inside Arkansas. You can check out our social media at Inside Arkansas. You can go to our audio podcast, wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, or Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron back there, even though you can't see, but he's the GOAT. I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel next Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you then.